only one thing ever mattered: helping people. I witnessed how, under the forces exerted by modern civilization, the health and mental well-being of those close to me were wasting away. This compelled me to study widely, from Feng Shui to Vastu to quantum physics. I discovered that gemstones and metals in certain constellations emit waves that create the space for regenerating body and spirit. This is how Soma Vedic came into being. Just as minerals can be used to generate electricity or to use magnetism, precious stones have qualities that make them prized treasures throughout human history. Following years of development, we today have tens of thousands of satisfied customers who enjoy lower stress levels and sleep more soundly, and whose lives have changed for the better. I know it sounds unbelievable, but that's how the invention of the light bulb must have sounded in its day. Nikola Tesla was right when he said the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. That's exactly what I did. And if it will help a single person, it was all worth it. If you want to wake up full of energy and looking forward to tackling a new day, Soma Vedic is here to help you.
Good afternoon, I'm Blair Campbell, the Head of Industry Development for Fit Summit. I'm joined here by Sandie Johannessen, the Health and Wellness Director for Zulal Wellness Resort by ChivaSom. Also, Yuki Kiyono, the Group Director for Wellness and Spa of AMAN, and also Zoe Wall, the former Group Director for Spa and Wellness for Asia for Minor. Today, we're going to be discussing how to reconceptualize hospitality and spa for a growing wellness economy. To begin, panel, it's the first question for all of you, and I'm going to start with Zoe first. What spa, wellness, and hospitality trends do you see emerging in 2022 as the world moves from the pandemic stage to the endemic stage? Zoe.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So there's a couple of things that I'd like to discuss. So I'll try and keep in time with everything. The first one would obviously be medical wellness. Now, I don't think this is a new trend. I think this has been up and coming for quite a few years now. But I think what COVID has done has really put a spotlight on preventative wellness. And obviously, when you talk about preventative wellness, you're more likely to be working with medical partners. So you go a lot more scientific, it's a lot more data-driven. You're working with partners where you can introduce medical treatments along with a lot of technology. So in that sense, I think we all knew it was happening. We can all see that the hospitality is definitely heading into that direction. You can see a lot more hotel groups joining these concepts. The second thing I believe is employee wellness. Now, again, this has been spoken about a lot before, but I think in terms of employee wellness, how we look after our employees is going to completely change post the pandemic. I think with COVID, we all learned to work differently. The new norm was working away from, the office or working at home, working different hours. So I think in that sense, employees and how they value their home life, their time with family and their own health, I think there's going to be a lot more focus on that. And I think the hospitality has a long way to go in terms of bringing that into the hotel groups. And lastly, plant medicine. Now, when I say plant medicine, there's a couple of things that come to mind. Some of them legal, some of them not legal. But as you all know, psilocybin is a lot in the news recently in terms of, treating cancer patients, people with depression, anxiety. But more so than psilocybin, because I think we have a long way to go before that becomes a little bit more available. For example, parts of Thailand where cannabis CBD has been approved, you're going to see a lot more of the wellness retreats in Asia offering a lot of plant medicine. But of course, that's challenging because when people hear the word cannabis, everyone gets a little bit confused what that means. but you're definitely going to see that more and more within Asia.
Wonderfully and succinctly put there, Zoe. Definitely those are fantastic trends to follow, and we understand the legality varies from region to region. I'm just going to jump now quickly to Sandie for your input.
Well, as we all know, the pandemic has made all of us look more inside and really connect with ourselves. And it's also given us an opportunity to connect with nature, doing more outside activities as well as with family. Extended travel restrictions, all the quarantines and everything has increased the awareness and consciousness also on a, environmental level, and also towards the attitude of really how we travel and how we holiday make. While there is more of an increase, I think, for hotels and resorts in terms of staycations, shorter getaways, even within one's own country, there is also higher quality trips, newer, unusual destinations which people are willing to explore, wellness resorts. Everybody are requesting and requiring now to be on top of their game, peak performance, immune boosting systems all around. So really what we see is guests coming to embark on wellness journeys, 2-3 days minimum, up to 7 and 10 days, really overall enhancing their wellness, well-being with their family and within themselves. A lot of family bonding, just to emphasize that. Many people ended up being locked away from loved ones, and they're willing and very happy to reconnect and doing that as an activity. So I think we will see that a lot more coming up in the industry in the not too far flung future.
That's fantastic. And it's really exciting that you touched there on also the partnership with Como and also Singapore Airlines for their nutrition, but furthermore on really that guest journey. And now we're going to hear from Yuki, who's going to detail her view of the trends and perhaps also how that pertains to the guest journey inside AMAN. Yuki, could you take over for here?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. So what I'm thinking about your question. So pandemic time, about the trend was coming about the pushing because of to the pandemic time, pushing to the healthcare and the lifestyle wellness in the forefront. Everybody started to talk about immune system, talking about biohacking, self-optimization. So that was a trend. And where are we going to, not because of the endemic, I believe this industry going to moving for the longevity. About the age reversal, you heard it, and also about the inflammaging, also about the well-being lifestyle. We are talking about the wellness program. So, but we would, I think it's going to be a more than program. It's going to be a lifestyle. So we're talking about a little bit about the lifestyle medicine and coming to other topics. And I believe in the lifestyle medicine, we are it's getting to more about age reversal. So we are talking about the peptide solution, mitochondria, the bioenergy solution, hyperbaric oxygen solution. So it's going to be a more and more different type of the solution will be coming up. And that kind of solution will be helping to guests enjoy to the fully like a 10 days holiday. Because we know how to helping to the guests enjoy, because usually the guests arrive to the holiday very tired. They enjoy too much. They don't know how to enjoy the nighttime. So we can help guests. So this is what we call to the lifestyle. This is what the industry will be changing in the future. This is what I'm thinking and we are doing.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that, Yuki. I'm sure that the audience is going to welcome all these wonderful insights at home. And please, audience, if you want to, you can leave some of those insights on the chat tab. Moving on to the next question. What management challenges still await hospitality and spa leaders in the endemic stage? And what I'll do first is I'll come to you, Sandie, just to expand more on how your management is going to deliver on those concepts.
So as we, Ross, tune our attention more and more on wellness-related and wisdom-based tourism, staff retention is one of the things which we are seeing as a challenge. Spa and wellness industry is, as we all know, completely moved away from the regular facial and body treatment. And now we are offering a lot of advanced beauty and advanced medical sciences with doctors and nurses and other healthcare personnel on board, as well as holistic healers. Now they are a much smaller, more specialized and more unique gene pool of people, which we require to perform these new innovative and futuristic services. We all know many healthcare workers are at times in danger of becoming disengaged. The high pressure atmosphere of really giving and giving and giving when you're helping heal and treat other people can quickly drain even the spirit and morale of even the best of the healthcare professionals out there. There's a lot of data around this about clinical and medical staff feeling frazzled and overworked in hospitals, clinics, and in wellness centers and hotels. So it is time for us to really overcome these challenges, to take a step back and really provide opportunities for our employees to relax and have an outlet for their own stress, so they are better equipped and more capable of helping our respective clients. So there are many different solutions to healthcare for us as the service provider, keeping our budgets and resources in mind. Many hotels, resorts are, and other corporations are making their spa, pantry, and relaxation rooms and employee rooms into break rooms, meditation rooms, where the employees can go in and switch off and disconnect, so to say, to be able to reconnect. So these small peak breaks in a more tranquil environment on site. That is how we will help them overcome and to overcome the challenges of this retention. Also even offering healthier food so that the employees don't tend to snack on any other salty or sweet treats and their energy would crash quickly. So it's a growing market, it's a captivating market, there's a lot of competition out there, and I think for specialized healthcare professionals, there are so many wellness retreats to choose from to be an employer of. So it's very important for us running the businesses that we take extra care of our respective team members and colleagues.
It's very difficult to modify the whole training of an organization to start going into this much more highly trained, highly skilled level of medical and lifestyle wellness. So absolutely, it's a paradigm shifting concept. I know that Yuki touched on this, so I'm just going to go back to Yuki as well and understand, is there anything that you see in the management level that Sandie has touched on that you might have to do a little bit differently at AMAN?
I agree with Sandie. Recruitment is extremely difficult, especially in the medical area, because general medicine is about the not so much informed concept necessary, but is a lifestyle medicine is a lot of discussion. Informed concept is a necessity. Meaning is we need to find the medical staff who could communicate very well and then having to the guest center service, not top down from to doctor and the patient. That is not easy to find the talent. That's why I agree with Sandie. Second thing is what I'm thinking about these topics about the managing employee personal health status information. Currently, we have we still have a challenging guest requesting to share the if employee has which kind of vaccination. When they had a vaccination, they want to see the certificate. I understand, would like to having the safe environment. At the same time, some of the country vaccination is not mandatory. It's a choice of the life. So if and also we could potentially losing to the great talent because of the vaccination is sometimes a mandatory, not mandatory, involving a visa. So I would like to say endemic from the pandemic, this is the personal health status of the employment. It's sometimes standing to the other questions. This is what
that's a very important point you brought up there, Yuki, and certainly something we're going to have to re-establish probably on every quarter, depending on how countries are opening and relaxing their restrictions. Finally, I'll just come to Zoe on this point as well, because you touched on the medical, the healing part, how that's trending now with what you've seen in your region. How are you going about managing this differently in a way that will allow you to reform and reformat the things which are currently available?
Well, like the two ladies have said, I mean, one of the biggest challenges as soon as you get into medical is finding the talent. I think even before we got into medical, especially the spa industry, we already had a lot of challenges and issues trying to recruit talent and to maintain talent. Now, obviously, when you go into the medical sector, the expectations of the clients are far greater, and that's normally because of how much they're spending. I mean, if you look in Asia and you take a domestic traveler who's particularly traveling for wellness, they can spend 178% more than a regular guest. So the guest expectations are much higher. Therefore, you really need the specialized talent. And I think the biggest challenge we have, and me and Sandie have spoken about this before, is managing the expectations of the owners when it comes to senior management, and having to really explain, you know, when you're looking at a doctor, paying a doctor's salary coming from Europe is completely different to paying the salary of a local therapist. So the expectations, and then that links into return of investment. Return of investment of a medical project is a completely different ballgame to a regular spa. So I think in that sense, it all goes hand in hand. And one of my biggest challenges over the last 4 years was managing those expectations and really explaining in detail to owners what it really involves when it comes to the investment, the talent required, and how long the return of investment is.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Zoe. There's no doubt, I think the people who are watching this are going to be very grateful that we have such passionate and wonderfully committed professionals like the three of you here, who are trying to move the industry forward to really provide customers with something even more transformative than what has been offered before. And thank you for leading that charge. What I'd like to ask you next is what wellness projects, what initiatives you are currently working on, and what milestones lie ahead of you in 2022 relating to that. And I'd like to come to Yuki first, just to establish what it is you're currently doing and working on for the next few quarters and year.
Of course. So as you know too, that we are having to going to open to the AMAN New York shortly, and also we have 8 new projects in the pipeline, and then 3 projects in the current project. All of the projects, as mentioned about the wellness and the lifestyle, became the forefront, because the owners. Everybody understand the wellness bringing to the additional value on the market. And then, as you know, AMAN, we are doing the residence and villa the business, not only the hotel hospitality business. So that's bringing to the additional value. That's why our development is a little bit different as our hotels. And also because of the successfully open for the AMAN and the medical clinic, owner talk to each other. They know that it also financially was very successful. That's why this is what I'm doing. And most of the new project having to the big wellness center, including to the medical. Sometimes based on the location demand, we don't have a medical, but it's a different type of the lifestyle will be always front of the project.
Thank you very much. It looks very exciting for you for the next year going forward. And I'm sure we'll be on our toes to hear that later on further down the line in 2022. let me come now to Zoe. I know that you have some projects currently that you are developing, but you're also learning and taking this next few months to really try and get to grips with what it is that you're going to roll out. So what could you speak upon in this regard?
So as you know, Blair, I have been working on some specific products for medical, and they really do vary in size, from as small as 36 square meters, which is tiny, all the way up to a fully integrated wellness resort, which is 60 villas, 40 treatment rooms, 2 restaurants. It's absolutely huge. So in that sense, we've really been testing different models and different sizes of projects. And something that we're really learning is that I think quite often it's quite easy to get, let's say, stuck in the wellness rat race of, you know, everything is bigger and better. I'm sure Sandie knows from now being in the Middle East, because even more so there, especially in places like Doha and Dubai, we get stuck in that motion of bigger is better. And sometimes, you know, you are required to have a big location, big space, lots of treatment rooms, but not necessarily. And something I learned, a very valuable lesson, was a particular project I was working on where we wanted a scalable project that we could roll out across multiple hotels that didn't require a lot of space and was a lot smaller investment. So we launched an IV drip bar, 36 square meters. And it proved very, very successful. Now, the challenges were everyone thought because it was small, it would be cheap to build. It still cost £250,000 to build. And obviously, it was challenging to get everything into that small space. But what we learned is if you have the right menu, the right offering, and you target the right clientele, it can actually be really profitable. So on the first day that we opened, we had clients from the UK. They were used to going to hospitals for these type of treatments. They came to our clinic and they ended up spending £25,000 on our first opening day. So in that sense, it's a really nice success story, because it means the return of investment on something like that is a lot quicker. Whereas obviously when you start going on these bigger projects that I've been working on, you're looking at anything between 5 to 10 years return of investment, which is obviously not for everybody. So I suppose the challenge is working out within hotel groups, where do you stay focused on holistic wellness and spa, and where do you integrate medical wellness? And you have to get that balance right. Because I can definitely say from my experience, medical wellness is not for every location.
It's a fantastic point. It's obviously a very large investment. And as soon as you start going into a very sizable location or square footage, that investment becomes infinitely larger and you have to justify that ROI 10 times more. So fantastic point on that. And I think our audience will love that. Sandie, let me come to you for this as well. Being that you've shifted now from the Southeast to the Middle East, what are you currently seeing on your horizon for 2022?
So here at the Zulal Wellness Resort by ChivaSom, we're launching 2 very interesting products or concepts which are different than the ChivaSom from Hua Hin in Thailand. And the 2 concepts are, one of them is traditional Arabic Islamic medicine, which might be very new to a lot of people. It was certainly new to me when I transit from Asia into the Middle East an area. So we're all very familiar with the Ayurvedic medicine, which comes from India, and TCM, all the old traditional Chinese medical sciences. What most people are not so familiar with, because it hasn't been promoted very much, is TAIM, traditional Arabic Islamic medicine as it is taught in the Quran. It's similar to the other health sciences from other places in the world, using certain potions and lotions, herbal blends and mixture and tonics. A lot of our treatments are blended using the local herbs and blends from the region here in Qatar and the surrounding Arabic country. We also have a traditional Arabic doctor on board who's a specialist in these sciences, and if you come to visit us, you'll be lucky to have a consultation with a specialist within this field. And a lot of the concepts are inspired by Ibn Sina's Encyclopedia or Canon of Medicine, which is one of the oldest books which are written on this topic. And obviously we hope that TAME will be projected to the world, and eventually over the years will also be familiarized and known on the same level as Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. Another concept which I'm working on is family wellness. So we have hired a very educated, very specialized team of psychologists who are specialized and trained in family therapy and family wellness. So when you're coming to the resort as a visitor with us, you will sit down with that specific health specialist together with Ayurvedic and naturopathic doctors, as well as the TAME doctor, and you can make a certain program for you and your family depending on what your requirements are. That could be yoga classes with the family, that could be everybody being put on a certain diet. If people have a private chef at home, it's also an opportunity for the private chef to come and train with our chefs here at the resort, who are trained in a specialized holistic and wellness cuisine, so that everybody, once they come home and go back to their normal day-to-day routine, can incorporate this new lifestyle and way of living. And yeah, again, a lot of family activities, cooking, classes as a family, going to the sustainability center as a family, talking with the sustainability director on the resort to really find certain holistic and very solid, how do you say, bonding experiences, which you will remember as a family going forward. So that's two concepts.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sandie, for mentioning that as well. I believe the godfather of Islamic medicine was Ibn Sina. So it's great to see those roots coming through. And I'm sure that our audience is very excited to see all of the projects that you've just mentioned, ladies, come to fruition and circle back and see how the progress is going at a later stage. So thank you for expanding on all of those. I'd like to now shift over to the third question, which is, where will spas and hotels invest in the future to further develop and deliver truly transformative and holistic experiences that serve in a unique way? And do you expect these to be having increased demand going forward? And let me come to Zoe first for that answer.
Okay, so I think we've touched quite a lot on some of the projects I've been working on, and I definitely think the demand from a consumer perspective and also a hotel owner perspective will just keep growing in terms of the medical field. And like Yuki touched upon, there's going to be a lot more focus on longevity, functional medicine, and really going deep diving into diagnostics, working with biomarkers, and really assessing what you can do for your guest's health through preventative measures. So obviously, versus waiting for everybody to get sick, which was obviously a big spotlight during COVID, it's what we can do to really, keep our guests well and obviously bring them those experiences during their holidays. Something I also see, which will be in big demand, and I think it's something that I touched upon earlier, was in terms of employee wellness and what that really means going forward in the future. I know during COVID there was a lot of HR activities, online classes, emotional wellness. Some hotel groups were doing financial workshops, which I think is all really great. But I think moving forward, it's how we're going to build on that and how we're really going to bring a lot of wellness to the employees, because essentially, especially when you're getting into medical, the expectations are so much higher. You really, really need the staff to be engaged. So really looking after them, I think, is going to be key. But I think we need to go beyond just what we've always done, which is typically, the fitness classes I think we need to extend that and really look into what else we can do for employees. So in terms of that, I think a lot of hotel groups are going to start to build budgets around employee wellness.
Wonderfully put, Zoe. I think you're absolutely right. It's great to focus on what programs and what offerings you can get to establish brand loyalty with your consumers and your guests. But one of the first ways we do that is by walking into a facility or a hotel or a retreat and knowing instantly that the staff love to be there because it's the one place that makes them feel so overwhelmed with belonging. So great to touch on that. Let me bounce now to Sandie. You expanded a little bit before on some of the things that are in your pipeline, but maybe just a bit more of a drill down into which offerings you're going to branch into even further, even in deeper detail, that are really going to be different to what you've offered previously in other roles.
Well, with all the climate changes and also all the awareness about sustainability and the quest for social prosperity, I think a lot of guests nowadays are looking for brands who have an impact positively on society and the environment overall. As an investor, it might cost a little bit extra and have a higher primary cost when you open a wellness resort or a resort, keeping sustainability in mind. But it's very, very beneficial in the long run, both for the businesses, the environment, and the local community. So that is something which we will see a lot of. We have a conservation program here at the resort, where we include beach cleaning, where we implement a lot of organic products or locally sourced products. And we have a sustainability director on board full-time in order for us to educate our guests, so they also feel that they're gaining new insights, gaining new knowledge when they are on board. So it again becomes wisdom-based, educational sort of traveling. That is what I believe the consumer will look for in their future customer journey.
Wonderful, Sandie. Well, it's very important, obviously, to still keep these nature immersed experiences for the individual and the family. And it's great to see that Zoe was shedding light a little bit more on how wellness is important in the workplace. And you're also voicing that wellness on a much bigger level in terms of what are we doing to really promote that at the same time as help our planet and really look after the sustainability of what we have going forward for the future. So wonderful concept there too. Yuki, I'm going to come to you now just to ask what it is that you're developing and delivering that's truly going to be transformative for guests who are coming back after this pandemic time.
So I would like to bring a couple of things about these topics, about what Zoe is saying and also Sandie saying. From the pandemic time, it's a guest in the habit and the guest in the what looking for it has been changed. We, as you know, we offering to the wellness program, the self-discipline program, studying diagnostic and many different lifestyle medicine, fitness. But now I see that guests would like to doing more lifestyle. It's the wellness, fitness, everything is a part of experience. So like a ChivaSom, where is the Sandie there? A guest who's staying to the hotel, they having to the access to the diagnosis, everyone. So among guests, and they staying to the most of the resort were providing to the wellness, they have instant the fast track and the diagnosis. That will be helping to during their stay. So we can see the hydration levels and what kind of minerals they needed, and a little bit twisting to the nutrition side, how they spending of the day to enjoy to the full time of the holidays, because they are most of the guests was locked down to their homes, even their beautiful big home. They could not get out. So when they get out, they would like to fully enjoy. But sometimes the people enjoy too much, and they cannot carry on to the 10 days fully energetic. So we could assisting to that, and then guests could fully energetic have 10 days holiday. This is I call to the holiday, the lifestyle, what we can provide it. This is what I think is the little bit changing, and then I believe this is what we can transformative to the program, what we can provide it. And then also owner side seeing to has been changed, and then that's why I believe the several owners requesting to building to the wellness, the buildings, and then change to their positioning. This is what I think.
Thank you very much, Yuki. It's wonderful to see that many of these trends and spa offerings are not only advancing, but they're expanding and deepening. And ultimately, there's some brands who are tweaking and some brands who are really revolutionizing their conceptualization for to meet the ever changing demand of consumers. It's very interesting for us to see which players are going to be successful for the future. Looking ahead, I'd like to ask a more perhaps complex question, which is relating to if you could remodel, redesign, or reconceptualize how you have designed your physical facilities to continue to be so unique amongst the marketplace and differentiated from other brands, clubs, studios, and spaces, how would you go about doing that? And I'm going to start by going to Zoe for this question, and then I'll come to you again, Yuki. Zoe?
Okay, so I'm going to move a little bit away from the medical clinic side, because I think I've spoken about that a lot. But I think, looking forward and in hindsight, I think something that we really need to look at doing differently in terms of space, concept, design, and guest journey within the hotel space is definitely the gym and also restaurants. And Yuki already touched on this a minute ago, and I think she brought up a really, really good point is, obviously we now have, these beautiful medical clinics, holistic spas, which is amazing, but a big, big part of wellness and lifestyle when guests are coming on holiday is the food and obviously what they're eating and obviously the fitness experience. Now, the challenging aspect is when guests are coming on holiday, they obviously really want to enjoy and indulge, but at the same time be healthy. And I still think, the chefs, the F&B, the general managers are still really struggling to be able to fuse the both together in the sense of, healthy, nutritious food can be delicious, can look great, and guests can still enjoy. But we've really got to look at how we present that to the guest menus, how we market it to the guests, what we offer in the restaurants. And then along with that, it's the gym space. And quite often, as we know, we get all this beautiful techno gym or live fitness, and we put all this equipment in, and then nothing really happens post that. So I think in that sense, I think what's exciting and what we can really expand on when we are talking concept and design moving forward is bringing the fitness, bringing the F&B, and how do we bring that all together to create one guest journey instead of it just being, well, the spa is here, the gym is here, and the restaurant is here.
Wonderful comment. It's one of the best ways to get return customers is to focus on these experiences that they want to have, and they want to have them on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times in a day. So absolutely key that you really target the engagement and the culture and the community of the gym and the F&B space. Thanks, Zoe, for that. Yuki, I'll come to you now for the same question.
Yes, Mariette. As you mentioned about the experience, This is what actually I'm doing right now. And actually, I was working today with the AMAN team. Most of the guests, they have already well-being daily routine. And we should let them continue when they come to the holiday, suddenly very unhealthy life. I'm not sure. I would like to be able to continue to the daily wellness routine, but they're getting boring about their routine. So we need to give something to a little bit more joyful, and giving to another to bring them to the next level. We need to inspire the guests. For this, I was talking about a few things I completely agree with Zoe, and I wish to talk with you directly more different time. Fitness gym is something what I'm really doing to the different. Fitness gym, I would like to have a fun gym, not exercising. When we are the kids, we go to the park, we are climbing everything. We didn't tell to the parents, I'm going to exercise and I'm going to pray. When adult, we can be so sophisticated. We say we are exercising. It's very interesting. So, and adults have a right to play. They are not need to do exercise only. So that's why we would like to doing the fun adult playground. And at the same time, we need to give some kind of the goals. Why we can financially achieve something? Because we have a goal. We have a budget. If you don't have a budget, you don't have a goal, you will not achieve it. That's why I'm doing extreme sports retreat. We give some goal, we can give the budget, so get working and the fun ground. This is, I think, is important. And also food point, what I mentioned, a lot of guests feeling have a guilty. Oh my God, I should not eat this food. Oh, because I get fat. Okay. We should give to something different alternative, and then guests should enjoy to eating. This is what I think is a very unique. It's not a big changes, but that will be a changing to the guest experience and then keep us the very unique as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuki. What I'd like to do now is just go to Sandie for a quite a unique question. Bear in mind that Sandie's moved from Southeast Asia to the Middle East, but is still working with a Southeast Asian brand. You have in the Middle East coming up, the World Cup is about to start. And one of the main reasons for travel will for international people will be to go and attend that. How is the wellness ecosystem of the Middle East going to change or be affected by that major international journeying for that event?
Oh, that's an interesting question. And of course, there's a lot of buzz. I think there's been created a lot of buzz around the world, as well as all eyes on Qatar, where I'm sitting here at the moment. The industries are really closely tied up with wellness, with hospitality and sports all together. So there will be even increased focus on wellness related and physical fitness and health, overall health, especially for the local population. And we will attract a significant number of visitors to Zulal, I believe. One of the trends which we see is that resorts, hotels tie up with also airline companies to promote their packages and PR, and has a collaboration. Now we are lucky that Zulal by ChivaSom is owned by the same company or the same ownership as Qatar Airways. So first-handedly, I'm actually creating World Cup packages where everybody flying in would have the opportunity to pre and post stay at our wellness resort, to give a teaser into what Qatar has to offer. So very exciting times ahead.
Thank you very much for that insight. It's very unique to hear from you and from that region. I'm going to ask one final question to all of you ladies, and that is regarding digital and tech. So what digital technologies, be it platforms, products, apps, or companies, are emerging as serious players in the wellness, spa, and hospitality industry? Why and what might you be using in the future? Let's go to Zoe, then Yuki, and then finally Sandie.
Very good question, Blair. Not easy to answer. If I speak from a hotel perspective, you definitely can see during the pandemic and COVID that a lot of hotels actually invested in their own apps. Obviously, some of the big players already had them, but you saw a lot of other hospitality groups invest in their own apps. And I think one of the main drivers was that, and I mean, Sandie touched base on the fact you have a lot of customers reaching out and asking a lot of questions. And we really found that within Minor, within our repeat clients, for example, the Maldives, where 70% of our guests are repeat clients. Before they were traveling, they were reaching out and asking so many questions about what are we doing with wellness? What are we offering nutrition-wise? What are we doing with fitness? And at the time, we were building an app. So in that sense, it was perfect timing. I think in the sense of wellness apps, obviously with COVID and pandemic, everything went online in terms of fitness. There were so many different fitness websites, fitness apps, fitness AI. It just exploded. And I think what will be really interesting moving forward is how hotels are going to embrace that. Because again, I touched a little bit about fitness in the sense of I feel we have a long way to go in terms of how we deliver fitness. And I think a big part of that will actually come down to the technology we use and how we bring that together digitally with the app, with the programs that we use. Because I think consumers now are far more savvy when it comes to online platforms and fitness. So if we can somehow bring that together and integrate it into what we do in hotels, I think it would be perfect. But the challenge with, I think, any type of app software, it's the investment and how you manage the return of investment on that, I think is a tricky challenge moving forward.
Tricky indeed, but that's where probably the key differentiator is going to be for many, isn't it? That's what makes it so exciting. Yuki, let's bounce to you for the same question.
Yes, about the wellness application, we are trying to working actually one company. Unfortunately, we're not able to pronounce it, the company name. Digital application must be a friendly user and must be a fun factor. We already have enough stress on the life, right? So we don't need the additional stress on the application. And this application must be integrating to the about already existing the application. I see that a lot of wellness guests and the fitness guests, they're already using some kind of application collecting how much you run every day or something. If they cannot integrate what they're using right now, it's a very difficult. So I think it's the new application supposed to be the fun factor, and you seeing yourself, you can evaluate yourself, and we can give it to the hint, and also integrating to the what you already done. So this is I believe what we're going to do.
Thank you, Yuki. And Sandie, same question.
I think serious players would be on a platform the ones who would really be able to incorporate artificial intelligence. And we are testing different system and products and companies at the moment. So I'm very keen to see who's going to win that race and who's going to become the next Tesla or Amazon of the spa world when it comes to high tech. Now, ChivaSom has always been very famous for quite the opposite approach. ChivaSom for the last 25 plus years have had a digital detox approach, as in you are not allowed as a guest to carry around your mobile phone within the resort. You can do whatever you would like in your guest room, respectively so, but you are signing a form the minute you arrive to the resort where you promise not to have your phone with you around when you're taking treatments, when you're dining in the restaurants, and so on and so forth. There is obviously certain guests who gets ticked off and very anxious and they leave the resort immediately, but it's very, very few percentage. many guests comes. Point one, because they really feel that it gives them so much to digitally disconnect. If they really need to take that phone call or get on a conference call, they can do it from the privacy of their guest room. We have a lot of very high profile guests who are international celebrity and royalty and so on and so forth. And they are so grateful that we have everybody put their phones away so they can sit in privacy and have a meal in a restaurant and float around in our gardens of the wellness center undisturbed of the eyes of any sort of paparazzi phones and other digital devices. So I hope that that part is also here to stay.
Sorry to interrupt. It was wonderful to hear that you're both, or rather all of you are using technology, but at the same time balancing how to digitally unplug and detox from it when it's not necessarily useful. So I'd like to thank everyone here, all the women of wellness on this panel, for all your fantastic responses and being so amazingly informative. Lots of great insights shared here. It's been an absolute privilege to host you and have you join us here today. From myself and the team at Fit Summit, we thank Zoe, we thank Sandie, we thank Yuki for all your participation. Audience, thanks for listening and contributing via the chat. Goodbye to all of you, and for those of you still listening, I do hope that I can have many of these conversations physically with you, either in Singapore in December or in our next event in 2022 in June. Thank you all very much for all your help.